Wrong mic setting. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right. So give me a one in the chat if you can hear me, but it should be working now. Hey, Lance, good to see you, man. Still muted, Ichiro? Okay. One. Okay. Thanks, guys. Giving me a heart attack. All right. DJ 2AM 3Gs. Good to see you guys. All right, let's get into it, guys. So we're doing things a little bit loosey-goosey here today. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. We're doing it a little bit laid back. It's casual Friday here at Trade the Pool. We're gonna be going over some trade reviews of the week. We're gonna be going over my wins, my losses. Hey, Todd, good to see you. And we are going to be we're going to be learning from my mistakes and maybe from my successes. Definitely from my mistakes. So if you have trade ideas that you want me to review, we can do that too. So feel free to drop a trade that you took. Just give me like a chart entry, exit or something, and we can talk. We can talk about it. Lex, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, guys. All the first timers, we appreciate this. Usually I do like PowerPoints and stuff, but hey, today we're laid back. We're having a good time, and I think we need to de-stress just a little bit after this week because there's been some spicy moves in the chart. Yeah, gold. How about that? I took the overnight short on gold. We can start there. Why don't we start there? Let me hop into the charts. Okay. Let me see if I can pop my face in here. Okay, I can get one or the other right now. There it is. Perfect. We're cooking now. So, guys, SPY. We'll start with gold, and then we're going to go to SPY. So gold, incredibly strong. This thing will not stop. I think that we are just starting to see a legitimate squeeze. Like, I mean, obviously not just starting, it's been squeezing, but like frenzy where we are seeing your mom buying gold. You're hearing about, the guy working at wherever you're at buying gold, that kind of thing. Like, when everybody was talking about crypto, that kind of mania. So I think that we are maybe like here on this kind of move. I don't think this thing is stopping. I tried to be a hero and shorted this thing. I shorted it like when it was over 4,400, and I tried to short it to under 4,400, and I thought it would maybe go down more to 3,900. And I got stopped out when it reclaimed 4,400. So yeah, I don't know. Don't short this is my recommendation. But what a crazy parabolic move, and it's like constructive. Like it's running hot, of course, but just wild strength. All right, yeah. So what's the play here with gold, guys? I have a few plays that I'm considering. So one thing that I think is interesting with gold is AMRK. This is giving a really nice entry today too. So AMRK, they aren't a miner. They don't produce or refine gold, but they do buy wholesale bullion and sell it to retail. So their biggest boon is when everybody and their mom wants to buy gold and they're getting, kind of screwed over on the margins, that kind of thing. So they own a ton of websites, retail facing websites. They also have some other interesting like bullion based debt or based loan things they do. Anyways, they benefit in a way that they didn't get much move off the early gold bull market, but I do think there's a potential to catch a really nice move on this chart. It's a really nice cup and handle, and it's a potential giant megaphone here. So this is one I'm keeping an eye on for sure. All right. So first off, let's talk indices. I'm going to go over the trades I took on the indices this week and just my overall thoughts on them. I'm seeing some comments already. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this stuff too. Bull, I'm in bull. So yeah, I want to talk about that as well, Guy. Yeah, welcome first timers. And let's see. Okay. So first off, SPY. What are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of barcoding. and we are barcoding over the 1.27 fib extension of the range from the previous high to the tariff dump. So when we reclaimed this, we were in breakout mode, gap up, never looked back. We ran all the way up to the 1.27 fib. This for me is a very important level because in a range break, very often, if it's going to reject the breakout, this will be the area where it will. It'll be a fake breakout where it overshoots, but then it rejects this area. So I was a little bearish when we posted this candle on the weekly, but then we reclaimed it. So I see no reason to stop this party. I think that we should assume that we will grind higher to the next breakout extension. Sorry, I'm trying to find my level, drag it out there. Yeah, 694.50. So nice and clean. You love it when your fibs line up like that. So I'm just framing. I know it's been choppy. I know it's been a lot of scary headlines. I think that we are in full on buy the dip mode still. And I think we're in full on buy the dip mode, even if we come back to 625, heck, 600, I'm buying the dip, So this train doesn't stop. I fully believe that, guys. You will lose way more money, assuming there will be a big correction, than just taking the correction on the chin when you get it and assuming we're going up. So that's the baseline thesis here. We have a nice channel on the daily that we tested 1, 2, 3 times before pushing off. I'm not going to lie. This is scary price action. We were like beating on the door here of this support support and hoping it holds. It seems like today we turn the corner. I am still a little skeptical about assuming that this is going to hold, but it does seem like it wants to. And what I do like, what I think makes it okay that it dipped this hard again, is that basically this was like, it did touch. You see this, the gap here? It did come back and fill barely, but it really didn't spend much time. Like this is still a pretty, relatively, at this point, it was relatively thin and they needed to come back, I believe, and fill it out there. And we saw the failed auction here hold. So that's what I really care about. So this super low volume, these single prints here, see those? When we came down and post market and then reclaimed overnight, this became the failed auction. And what we actually did is we transacted this initial consolidation before the grind up. So we're just kind of back testing and confirming that we're still bullish from this point. And then I really do like that we came down here and, like I said, these small prints, they just said, nah, you'll get it pre-market for a second, and then we're going to scream up here, So we have the nice, and obviously, okay, we were running hot. Then Trump said some dumb stuff. And then Trump said, actually, I'm kidding. So we should be back up here. That's how I'm looking at SPY. Now going into the individual trades this week, we got some really clean setups, and I was trading Qs instead of SPY, but it was the same thing. So I want to talk about a few of these setups and how I traded them. First one. I've been these gap ups and gap downs. I used to hate them, but I've been really starting to love them. So, and I do see your comments, guys. We'll talk Amazon and everything else you're mentioning in just a sec here. But I just want to talk about how much easy money there has been in trading these gap fills. So, for example, here on Monday, we had, puked on Friday, horrendous close. It felt like fire and brimstone. Like, oh, we trade the whole week super high, and then on Friday they closed the candle at the low. Like it was doom. But we but we create a nice trading opportunity where we open this gap and we consolidate on Monday. And going into Tuesday here, if you took the swing, you could be saying, hey, we have the big dump. Almost always, we're going to get a dead cat bounce off of the big dump. I like to target that 50%, and I like to look for weakness over the 6-2. So if we zoom in here, sorry, I know it's a messy chart, heavily traded this week. clear it up a little bit for you. The important thing here is this 0.6162 fib. So basically the idea is, okay, we found a bottom overnight, clearly, but I'm not super convinced that we can just leave this empty space here. So it would make sense that we would want to come back and test this, and then I would be looking to get long on stuff when we do. So that was kind of the setup on Monday into the close here. In terms of the actual trading levels, you had this low of the day at the 50 fib. So as long as that was holding, you had some nice opportunities. I believe right off of the open, let me zoom in here. Man, this has been such a long week. This feels like 2 weeks of trading ago. All right. So let's dissect what happened. So big gap down. The volume profile is super important to me. We have this big volume node here. So when we're under it here, it makes very, very logical sense that we would come back and retest this area. But we have a few other things that are important. A big gap here, and then a big node up here. So it's tricky because price is going to want to come back up here and it can rip through here, but this is going to be a big roadblock that might need to be digested. So my game plan was, okay, makes sense that we're up here, but I'm not so sure that we get to surge into this big volume gap and then surge up higher. I think it makes more sense, ebb and flow. I'm always looking for the path of least resistance. So this made sense. What would make sense to me now is that if it can't find solid traction over the 6.2 fib, we can't assume that it's going to reach up here yet. And we have to assume that it's going to want to fill the gap. So that was a really good, if you took the swing overnight, just playing for the gap fill, you got it. I did not take the swing overnight, but I saw pre-market the next day, very heavy price action, but my oscillators were starting to curl up. They were still flat. So basically how I interpret this is, okay, it might take a while for us to catch and go, but I think it's a pretty good chance that this momentum is going to start to carry up like this because, we're down near resistance or near support, I should say. We just, it loves oscillating like this. And so thoughts are, okay, I want to be bullish today, but I think that maybe there might be some chop and shake in the morning. If they're going to take it bullish, where would they take it bearish first? And I go, oh, this gap is just sitting here unclosed. And we saw big weakness out of the gate. So this lends to the thesis that this needs to come back and fill. Then at open, it basically, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. We are on the 14th. Okay. We're going to go to let's go to a 10-minute. All right. So pre-market, we see this dump and basing action. So when we're here, the gist is that we have chop on our oscillator, but it's starting to kind of look like it's red right before open. So I'm always looking for the momentum right before open because my system, I really like to take one quick trade out of the gate if I have a good signal for it and make a nice little amount of money off the just straight shot that's high probability. And then if we get reaction at the level that I'm expecting, then I can try a mean reversion play to basically go the other direction. So that's how I game planned this and how I framed the trade. And I said, okay, if we see any weakness in the morning at the open, I am short, and I'm short to this level exactly, to this gap fill exactly. So right out of open, let's go super granular. 5 minutes good enough. So right before open, often you will see an inverse move happen. So if the index is going to move down, it will push up a little bit first and it will fail to break a significant high. So how I was framing this is I'm looking at open and I'm seeing it kind of surging into open, and this is where it opens, and I go, oh man, this looks like just and I only do this if I really start to see like, oh wow, we're just starting to curl over and we get you're giving me the nice look up here. So my stop can be really tight over like right here. So I just put right out of the gate. I put right out of the gate here. And then when we lost this pre-market low, I said, oh, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm right here. I'm adding. And then you take two off. Well, I took one off initially right at the penny. And then I said, okay, we're probably going to get some wiggle here. And the second it starts to go up, I'm getting out. So it came down again. I was considering just saying, oh, wow, if we get 590 even, I'm definitely taking that. And I saw the buyers starting to step in. So then I got out, probably like right here or so on the second one. And then I started saying, well, shoot, that was a strong response. If it gives me just a little look back and shows buyers again on a higher area. So this wick right here, I was a buyer because I was thinking, hey, where's path of least resistance? We took it here. And I don't think we would have gapped up like this on bullish news if we weren't eventually going higher. That's my thesis overall. We're going higher. So I want to find a spot long. This makes sense. I made money on the short. So this is how I like to kind of take a high probability little trade and use it to kind of snowball into a potential bigger win here. So obviously this was a big win. I trimmed on at the open, trimmed at the open. And then I felt silly because it power sticked through. Usually I would be saying, hey, this is a time to long because it's a failed breakdown. I was just a little bit unsure of myself. So that was a mistake. I got rid of a contract here when I should have held, or I could have even added. But then I took my other one off at the close because I said, wow, if we're this strong through our pre-market, well, where's the path of least resistance? We have this big gap up here. And man, let me tell you, these calls cooked so hard. I did not hold them nearly as long as I should have. JR, yeah, the highlight, the cursor, yes. What I can try to do, let me try actually right now, but definitely for next time. I'm exploring some software options for that. The last one I tried was bogging my computer down, unfortunately, so I need to find a replacement. So yeah, unfortunately, next time I will have that up for you. But I will be better at verbalizing what I'm talking about because I do understand it's kind of hard to follow this. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to change my settings so my crosshairs are neon or magenta pink. That should help a lot. Trading view pink, trading view magenta. There we go. And I'm also going to make them thicker. There we go. Okay. No, JR, I really appreciate that. I want to improve the user experience. I'm a relatively new streamer. I'm an experienced trader, but new streamer. So this really helps me out. Thank you for bearing with me. So I just want to keep going through this week because the trading action was so neat and tidy. So neat and tidy. So the first thing I want to talk about on Wednesday is, well, actually, let's finish up Tuesday's price action because it's pretty telling. So it came up, filled the gap, and it's flagging super strong, super strong. Why did it do this? Well, we're going level to level to level to level, right? Path of least resistance, baby. This was the path of least resistance. And there is always a chance that some news happens overnight. There's always risk. So if you're buying anywhere down here, you sell here because it's obvious and you make a bundle of money. Because, dude, I'm not saying do this, but I bought, I made money on zeros. So I bought another zero with the money. I bought a 592 call when it was at 591 or 591.20 or something for like $1.50, $150. It was worth like 1,000 up here. No, I did not hold because I was rolling up as I went. So if you can stick with the thesis because the percentage gains are absolutely insane if you catch that. And even with shares, I did take this whole trade in my Trade the Pool account. And actually, this is a great time to talk about why I think prop accounts are so great. Because it would have scared the heck out of me to hold the option this long. I took one off here. Like I said, I took another off here. It came down and I was like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And then I rolled up and I bought like a lotto and then it popped and the lotto hit and I sold this. And then I didn't get back in for this last leg on options. But for shares, it felt so easy to just hold as long as my, my 5-minute important EMAs here are holding. Why would I be scared? I know where it's going. I know where it held. I can just put a stop under each swing high or swing low that catches. So I put my stop under here and then it was coiling here and breaking out. As soon as it breaks this high, I put my stop under here and comes back, retest this high. So it's just level to level to level, guys. It's so beautiful. And then put your stop under here when it breaks this high. So just super systemic here, super systemic. And it allows us to basically be sitting mostly cash. If you're a day trader like me primarily, it allows us to be sitting in our day trade account like mostly cash. And then when we get these sells here and we go, man, wow, the market looks like it's turning, you can buy some long-term positions. So I started just buying shares of stuff that I liked here. I don't even remember what, to be honest. I'll have to check. But it's just a good way to kind of balance yourself and not get too locked into bull, bear, you know? You can be more like, okay, I short-term trade this direction. And then when I feel the resistance starting in that direction, well, then I look for the entry for my longer term directional buys. So level to level to level, what happens? We dump into close. We scare everybody again. Why do we do it? We're just de-risking, no biggie. How do you know that? Well, if it was a problem, we would have lost the 50% fib. But what do? This is precision technician close. They dump it exactly to the penny to the 50% fib, confirming that while this was too hot, anywhere down here is way too cheap. We will buy it the second it goes 1 penny on sale in this range, which tells me very strongly that we are breaking out of this range. So I'm biased long into the close. If I had the foresight to do all of this analysis snap lickety quick, right here, then I would have gotten long here. I did not. This is hindsight, but it paints a clean picture, right? So we're going to talk about the next day in just a sec. But Michael, your question here: would you recommend starting off with shares instead of options? Absolutely. So when you're trading shares, you have one major variable. Is price going to go up or down? That's what you're trying to predict. With options, you're bringing in a very, very, very hard third dimension or second dimension. Well, as when you're bringing in time, because time, it changes everything. The calculations of what makes an option or what makes an option cost what it does, they change every second with every candle, and it can be very deceiving if you're not familiar with how these options will move. You could very, very easily say, "Oh, this chart looks good," and we'll do an example here. Say you wanted to get long, you thought that they would sweep this low and catch. And so you see this bottom wick, and then you get long right here on it with an option, a 0-day option. And then you get 2 candles down. You'd be down 30% here, and it would, if you had risk management on any, normal position, usually 30% is when you're like, I need to see something to make it, to make me hold this. So it'd be very easy to get shaken out on just these tiny moves. With shares, it's so much easier. Another thing is that options prices will decay over time, right? Because of theta. So that means that you can't just trade a level on an option. You can't say, okay, I bought this at $1 and my stop loss, and it's up to $1.50. My stop loss will be $1. Price could come back down to $1 and it could be a higher low. Higher low on a chart is bullish, but you just got stopped out at the low. So these kind of things make options trading very tricky unless you really know what you're doing. And like I said, it took me years. It took me years to really hone in on when it is appropriate to play options. And I've just been trading less and less and less options as I've progressed as a trader. So now when I do options, it's for moves like this. It's a 0-day contract that I'm buying for $100. And if I'm 100% wrong and we just out of the gate get this candle, I'm down $100. I can live with myself. If I'm right, I make about $200, $300. So that's when options are good. When you can define your risk with the price of the contract and say, hey, this is a punt. I'm taking this. I think that the odds are good. And you get paid very handsomely for that. Otherwise, though, shares are the way to actually, to hold a company that you like. If you believe in a company and you want to invest, you should be in shares. Even if you want to trade, you can just lever up on shares and you get such a more contained experience where you are never going to experience the volatility of, dude, in my options port, when we had this red day, I had like 7 positions that were all between 10 and 70% green on like month out contracts. I just got stopped out at break even, some here, some here, some here, some here, some here. If I held, holy moly. I would have been down 30% on the account. And it's so hard to let go of those ideas because all those trades were good. None of those were bad trades. It's just one thing happened and the premiums dissolved because everybody was scared, So you just gotta be able to kind of factor that in. What I did is I got stopped out at break even, and that sucked. I lost a good amount on this day. But then I had a bunch of cash and I was just ready to play. So I was catching these moves and I wasn't bogged down like, oh my God, is my stuff going to recover? Are we going to come back up here? So that's why I would recommend shares over options. If you want more leverage than shares can provide with the amount of capital you have, that's where prop trading firms come in, and they are really helpful. I know this is essentially sponsored by a prop trading firm, but I do not give advice that I don't believe in. Anybody who knows me knows I'm honest to a fault. So prop trading isn't for everybody, but this is the perfect example of somebody who it is for, who you want to lever up, but you don't want to play the gambliness of options. So you can define your risk, and you can do that with the size of the account, the amount that you're paying for the account. And you can also do it very regimentedly with the actual, they have bracket orders, so stop losses and take profits. The amazing thing is, and this is something that I struggle with to this day, because I trade options in a sub 25K account because I don't trust myself with that kind of money. So I'm constantly dealing with buying power problems. With Trade the Pool, I never have that problem. When I run through my buying power too fast in a day, scalping the morning, then I just go to my Trade the Pool account, and all day long I can just scalp the easy moves, and there's no settlement. So that's where it's amazing. It's like you get to trade with a 25K account, like straight up with no downsides. So that is why I would recommend shares over options. And that's why I would recommend for people in that position, prop trading. But I know you guys are here for the trading, not the business pitch. So we'll get right back into it. Let's see, Mike saying if you're on Windows, you can go to your search bar and put in mouse pointer size to change the cursor. Let me try that. Thank you. I'm working with a much, what I think it is that I have a giant monitor now. Last week I did not. So I was losing my cursor when I was playing games. So Mike, give me 20 seconds and I appreciate that. And I will try to fix this up here. I am seeing pointer speed, but not the size. So unfortunately, I can't spend too much time on this, but I will figure it out for next week. Maybe I can. Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure how to figure that out right now, but I do appreciate the suggestion. So let's get back into some weekly price action here, guys. So yeah, T+1 is a wonderful thing. Talk. You probably can attest to this, but for me, one of the biggest hurdles for being a new trader when you're dealing with these things is I don't know why I say you can attest to this. You're not a new trader, but I'm sure you've seen this happen a lot of times where traders will get like attached to their positions. I'll get attached to my positions because I know once I hit sell, I can't rebuy it. So I'm more willing to weather a drawdown because I don't want to cut myself out of the trade completely. With Trade the Pool, I just take the stop and I say, hey, I'm keeping it on my screen. If it reclaims, I'll buy it again. Who cares? And this is the same concept of buying on the right side of a V. And let me explain what that is. Let's go to empty screen here. We'll do a little doodling for you. Okay, we have price in a V. So our level that we're watching is right here. We want to buy at this level. So price is coming on down, hits our level. Do we buy? No. Why? That's our level. We wait for it to reclaim. We get the same price entry with the defined risk. We know if it loses this, we're wrong. And we know that it's not in free fall anymore. So this is what we call buying the right side of the V. And it's both the actual right as opposed to left side, and it's also the correct side. So easy to remember. Buy the reclaim. Don't buy the knife. That'll get you hurt. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's get back to the price action. So where are we at? We're on Wednesday here. Tuesday, we had the gnarly gap down, but precision technicals, we held the 50. We are still playing ball. What are we doing? Okay. We tested up here. We came back to the half. That means that this is off limits for now. We should be pushing up. Next path of least resistance should be to sweep these highs. So that is the first target. Pre-market, it already does the work for us. Sweeps the highs. Okay, so what the heck do we do? I'm trying to remember what I even did this day, but I remember it was tricky because of this. So target hit pre-market. That feels bad. It's like, what the heck do you do? So what I did is I watched this gap and I said, I'd like to see this gap fill. Oh, I remember this day sucked. So now we get to talk about my pain and suffering. So we have the big gap here. This was my target. From open, we gapped up. We're 2 days in a row. I see no reason why we shouldn't fill this gap today. We come down. I say, okay, heavy sell signal on the 5. Let's go through it proper here. On the 15 on Wednesday, see the momentum right here starting to turn over into close. So I'm bearish out the gate again. I'm bearish out the gate again. And then there we are. Yeah, 5-minute rolling, and I'll give you the hourly too, because that's my daily routine whenever I do this kind of thing. And I do this every single morning looking for setups. Wednesday morning was still bullish. So this, I think, is the tell that the hourly still wanted to drift up more before it rolled. So that, I think, explains why we got this gnarly price action. So areas of interest. When I take this short, I want it to fill the gap, but it could mess with me. Where could it mess with me? Well, the area of interest I see is the low or the pre-market open and gapped up. And that also corresponds with this volume profile where we were flagging. So I did have this on my charts and I was aware of this. And I had 2 contracts right out of the gate at open and I was feeling like the man. Easy money all day long, right to my target, straight shot. Gimme, gimme, gimme. From 604 all the way to 598, that would have been a 700%, 600% win on the zeros. Crazy win. But I don't know what's going to happen. So I take one off in this zone. And boy, howdy, am I sure glad I did. I got stopped out on the other. I did hedge with a call just because of the velocity of this. Scared me. I was like, oh, what the heck was that? So I bought a small call, which helped a lot because I took that one to, I wanted 666. Oh, did it get 666? I don't think I held that long. I would have felt good about that if I had sold the very top. I'm pretty sure I sold 605. Yeah, I sold 605 when it broke pre-market. And then I'm sitting there with my put. This is on life support. I like stopped out here or something terrible. It was just terrible. I should have just held it. But premiums, I bought for $1, right about $1. Went to about $250. I sold one. So I did free roll the contract. Bought a call. That one like 100% or something up here. But my put went from $1 to like $2 to 50 cents. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. Take the 50. I'll take the 50 cents. Don't take all my money. That 50 cents turned into 1,200, I believe. Or, so $50 turned into 1,200 if I just held. And lo and behold, my target here did hit. Boom. So that was a sad one. When I looked back at the chart later in the day, I was like, oh, just had to clutch my heart for 5 minutes till the pain wore off. But hey, I learned something. I don't know what I learned, but I'm sure I learned something. So now's a good time. We're halfway through the week. Let's review our volume profiles. This one was weird as heck on Friday, but then we have the nice healthy like P shape here. And this is basically like a P because this just gaps straight through. We came back, we cleaned this up, and we have a weird bipolar kind of P, but it still looks like a P where most of the volume is traded in the top half. But it gives us this area of softness here. So it does make sense. Okay, we're going higher, but we need to come back down and we need to fill in this area of softness. So we come in there. And then in this volume node, the high volume node, that's where we find the buyers. And then rip it right back up. What a gnarly move. You could have made so much money. Like, cause I was out of the game by this point. I took my loss on this. I had made a little bit of money overall, but I felt terrible about it. One of those days. And then if you had taken calls off the gap fill, which I forgot because I wasn't looking, boom, straight shot 70% on Qs, which is if you took a zero there, 598.50, you take a 600 call for maybe $1. Gets up here, it's worth 300, 400, 500. So, the opportunities are insane if you're a day trader. And if you're just trading shares, you lever up on the conviction and then you have a tight stop, and you just play these moves there to there, and you make a lot of money that way too. So, what do we got? What do we got? Sorry, it's taken a while to get through this week. I am going to get to your questions, I promise, guys. But just there was so much good price action this week that I wanted to talk about it. Thought it was a really good one to talk about. So we do the gap down. We find buyers here. We come back to VWAP. See how we're just trading the range, trading the edges of the range and coming back home each time. And we're just watching the migration of this point of control. Whereas before it was down here. Now it's up here. Now it's up here. This is bullish migration until this day. The great cooking oil crash of, was that this one? Was that this one? I can't even remember. What was this one? I don't know. But Thursday, we swept the highs out of the gate. We gap up, showing strength. And this is mean price action. This was the other day I wanted to talk about because it messed me up so bad. So this is, in retrospect, what we call seek and destroy price action. This was the meanest opening range price action I have seen in a couple weeks. It sucked. So let's mark out our setup here. Pre-market, we're trading up here. Short-term momentum is rolling bearish, and we have failed to break the high before in pre-market. But right out of the gate, we see the little nod down. So I was like, okay, I can't just buy puts right out of the gate because it's looking like it wants to push up first. So I got to see what it does. Is it going to hold this? And first it sweeps this. That's bullish. Okay. So that's one for the bulls. One for the bears was that it couldn't push up here pre-market. So one to one. I don't know what's happening, but I'm kind of leaning bullish because this happened more recently. That's how humans' brains work. So then we come down and we sweep this low of the day, but we haven't broken pre-market lows. So I'm going, okay, we push down and then we come back up here. Man, that's bullish as heck. That wants to break out soon, probably next 20 minutes. Then it tries to next 5 minutes. Big wick, big push down. That's scary as heck. Continues down, and now it's sweeping pre-market lows. Spooky, but strong response. So what do we do here? Well, I was biased short. I thought the violation here was a sign. The rejection up here into the violation here was a sign that we would go down, and my target was to fill this gap. Just the overnight gap. Oh, I'm sorry, to the close. That's what I wanted. Yeah, so 602.60. And I believe I took the short on this when it tested this level here and failed and then came down and made a new low. And I'm going, I'm a genius. This is so easy. I'm great. I am the best. And then I look back at my screen and I'm down. And I go, okay, well, that's weird, but it shouldn't break this. Okay, now it broke this high. Okay, well, where the heck are we going? Are we just going to squeeze? Do I buy calls? I can't buy calls up here. Got to wait for a back test. So I stop out of my put, like here or something. I start looking long, and we get this bottom wick here off the previous high, and I long that. And then they just take me to the cleaner, right to my initial target. I'm a clown. So this day kind of sucked. What got me is these multiple sweeps in both directions early on in the first half hour where they're trying to fake people out. Usually you get one nice fake out, and then you get the nice move in the correct direction where the liquidity draw is. This sucked. I'm not even sure exactly what it was doing now. Maybe it was tagging this low. That's probably it. I still don't get exactly why it dumped here, but sure did. Oh, was this the Trump day? Yeah, okay. I think that it was trying to rebase and hold here, and then Trump nuked us. But looking back, we went to this, tried to bounce, and then flushed all the way down to clean up this low volume node here. Man, we went all the way down to clean out this. So that's mega bearish. And then what do? We do the classic, hey, screw you, bears. It may look bearish, but overall, we are so massively bullish that any short time frame bearishness is more likely to actually resolve bullish. Just because why not? Trump could say one thing, and then we reclaim the key 595 here, 597, 598. And then, back test that in the morning and off to the races. So I wanted to talk about today's price action. That was all just preface to get to what we're seeing here today. What are we seeing here today? Let's look at the hourly and frame this trade. Why was I so bullish today? The biggest reason was that I couldn't be at my screen for a couple hours. And that usually means that there's an amazing trade that I either have to conviction buy and not look at, or just miss completely. So pretty good sign right there out of the gates. But let's look at our momentum indicator. Crossed over at 5 a.m. We got the Trump tweet right about here. We reclaimed key level. This is a classic fake breakdown. And we held a higher low, and we just renegotiated into this area of low liquidity, low volume. So come back down here. As soon as we reclaim this, I'm a raging bull. We have the crossover on the hourly, so we should start to see drift up. We have nice targets overhead to sweep. All of this is very nice. We had pushed down so much that there's a lot of room to go up. Just for an average day's move, we could be looking at, let me put on my pivots here. My new day trading indicator. So yeah, even if we were just getting to the place where a mean reversion day would reject, we had from our entry from open, that's a full percent up on Qs. So just an amazing setup today. You really love setups like this. I wish I went even harder. I did well today, but I just couldn't conviction it because I couldn't look at the screen for a while. So I will explain what I did in the moments that I was looking at my screen. And I did catch a few good moments here. So right out of the gate, push down just a little bit. I like the red candle into the open. And so then I'm saying, hey, I'd like to get in right about at this pivot. So I believe I just longed right there. I think I longed one there. Let me think, actually. All right, 5 minutes after open, yes. So, okay, it was either this one or this one. One of these looked like a good reclaim, and I basically got in when the open reclaimed. And the target was this pre-market high first. So I sold right there at 660. And the idea is that, okay, if we're bullish, we're going to surge through 600. And if the 600 holds the back test, then we can add long or get back in. So trimmed there, came back down to open. And this was an auto trim. I wasn't at my screen. So auto trim came back down. And if I was in front of my screen, I would have added there again, right off the top there. Really clean. But I did not. And then my next trim was this high, I believe. Yeah, I had the line there, so that makes sense. So 603. And okay, so whenever I have a line and a level and it's a round number, I go, yeah, they would love to transact that. So I had bought 603 contracts here because this was the target. And I thought we could go higher, and I'd be saying, hey, if I buy 603s cheap, and then I just hold on to one up here and we go to 605, I can hold that. So 603 down to a runner here. I looked again when it was like right here. I was like, what the heck happened? All right, my runner's dead. I didn't sell it though. What I did is I rolled down. And this is where you just have to have conviction, because what I saw was this candle. This is where I took the L on the 602. It was trash. It was trash money, you know. But then I bought a 6. No, it was a 603 that I bought. I sold that and I bought a 601. That's what it was. And then, I mean, it was so damn cheap. But I saw that it held the low. And I just didn't see a reason why it needed to go back down here. So that's where like, if you have a strong read, you can just kind of say, hey, I not in a billion years would I would have predicted this. If I was staring at every candle, it would have scared the pants off of me, you know? But I saw it here and I said, well, that sucks, but I can't do anything about it now. What I can do is look for a long off this support. And boom, I had to go away from my screen again. I was driving here. So I put a sell limit for this top here. Boom. And I checked my screen right here. I'm like, I'm a god. I'm great at this. Okay. Then I got too cocky. And I said, I'm not going to trust the rest of my plan. This looks like it might be a short. I'm just going to stop trading instead of buying back my long again off of the same level that before I had. And if I played my own levels, double bottom right off the level and an amazing surge, this would have been the real most profitable move of the day. A 0.76 move into after hours after the contracts have been beat up. So very, very good setup there. And that concludes price action for this week on Qs. I'm going to start going back through all of the questions if I missed any, and we can talk about any trades that you guys would like to here. Let's see. Man, you guys are blowing up the chat. I love this. So good to see so many people in here. Okay. All right. Tyler is in some Nvidia December 200 calls. Let's look at that. Look at Nvidia. What do we got going on there? That's a heck of a fake breakdown. And look at these looks that they give you. If you just wait for your spot, say you wake up late and Nvidia's up here and go, man, it looks so strong. Man, I wish I longed it out of open. Well, put an alert there. Put an alert there at the neckline like that, where it's traded a lot. See that point of control? These levels are here. So often they give you look backs. I believe 70% of breakouts give you a look back, a back test. And I mean, heck, beautiful. So let's see. Tyler here grabbed some Nvidia December 200 calls off the quadruple touch of 179, 180. Is he? Boom, boom. He's talking about exactly what we're talking about. Oh, yeah, good man. Good man. Tyler's learning. I love this. Okay. Going to be juicy coming into earnings too. Absolutely. So we can talk about another option strategy here, which is essentially playing IV ramp. So Nvidia. First off, man, what a chart. And this is why you just draw long-term levels and you don't overthink things. Look at this big shelf. We can go down here from the point to point. And so this is what's important. This is the area that should hold. That being said, there is a big difference between this kind of shelf, see down here, bottom left, and this kind of shelf. This one is solid. So see, it doesn't need to come back all the way down to here as long as it proves that it can hold this. So in this consolidation, I'll zoom in. It held the low, see on this day, and then on this day, higher low. So it didn't need to backfill this kind of gap. Up here, however, we got ahead of ourselves. We are still bullish, but this was a fake breakout. I think it just got ahead of itself. How we'll know is if this holds here, and I'll redraw this. There we go. So essentially, it makes sense that it would want to come back in and fill here, and it might chop around in here. It might have one more day down just to fake people out. I don't really think it needs to, though. This look, it barely dipped into this gap on the green day today. And like Tyler said, it's a 4-tap level there, where basically what I think we're seeing is this is the point of control, and every time it's offered at a discount, it gets snapped up super quick. So I see this as bullish. I see this as a back test, a deep back test, but a back test nonetheless. You have the 50 rising up. That's been nice support. You have your other EMAs starting to flatten out. See how they're downtrending, then they start to flatten out and you get the nice push. Now they're downtrending and starting to flatten out again. I like Nvidia. You have 200 strikes. How much out of the money is that? 8%. That's doable. So we have earnings on November 19th. IV will ramp up, especially in the window that I will show you once I get the right indicator here. There we go. So the window right about there. This time, before earnings, IV is going to increase significantly because the implied volatility will increase as a binary catalyst approaches. People will be willing to spend more of a premium to take a bet because there will be an outsized move. So the market makers price the contracts accordingly. How we profit off of this consistently is we do exactly what Tyler did with about a month. You could do it up to a couple weeks before as well, before the earnings date. You look for a dip and a strong support level to buy off of. And then ideally, your contract will drift up in price. Great, you make money, but also it drifts up in IV as you approach this date. So IV bump, the IV juice can be very significant. You can see a 10 to 30% boost on your contract where it's basically trading for a premium just because, you know? So how we capitalize on this is we trim into earnings, even if we're amazingly bullish, because anything could happen. Or we take the money from our options and we buy shares or leverage shares, something like that, that isn't prone to the same kind of IV crush that you will see. Because if the second Nvidia earnings happen, IV will dump. And that isn't necessarily bearish, but IV will definitely go down even if price is strong. So we can make free money doing that. And I like free money. It's my favorite kind. So good setup here. Good setup here. What else? We got some dueling banjos on a firm. Let's take a look. Let's see who's right. Let's see who's right and who's wrong. Just kidding. There's always two sides to any market. So a firm very sensitive to rates, very sensitive to consumer spending, very sensitive to short interest and short covering. In this market where shorts or highly shorted things are ripping like crazy, I don't like that this is rejecting a stage 2 breakout. Complex handle type beat. These are really hard to read, these ranges. I don't really know what that's doing. Do you guys know what that's doing? I don't know what that's doing. My guess is it would do some wacky BS and carve out some type of higher low and then create kind of a wider cup shape. And then it's a valid long somewhere. I kind of want it. Yeah, I just didn't even look when I drew this, but this looks nice. If it comes back to 53, I'd buy. Guys, you want to know something painful? Who has two thumbs, trust issues, and a cost basis of a firm at 11 that they sold at 20? This guy sniped literally the bottom, sold it for 90%, so I can't feel that bad, but felt pretty bad a few days later when it was 50. So hold your snipes if you're in shares. That's my thoughts on that. Michael, sorry to just get to this now. Where do you set the anchor volume profile? So let's talk about it. When you see this on the left on any big screen, this is just variable range. So you just type in VRVP. Yeah, visible range volume profile. So this is showing everything on the screen. When I go like this and we let it think, now it's adjusting and showing only what's on screen now. So I find this very useful. What you can also do is you can go and, there's a few things. I use session volume profiles very, very heavily. And that's showing every day's volume profile. And if this is esoteric to anybody, feel free to check out my multiple webinars on this, because this is very, very heavily featured in my trading style. So I use these as well. And then sometimes, not always, but when I want to get really granular and like really do my due diligence on TA, I will also do fixed ranges of a week and a month as well. And that can give a very good look, because you will see these points of controls retested and respected in a very linear stair-steppy manner on bullish charts, usually constructed bullish charts. And yeah, so that is that. I also do use anchored other anchored things like anchored VWAPs and stuff. And then I always anchor from the highs and the lows of either the range that I'm looking at, or like I said, monthly, weekly, daily. So move fig odd. Harry asking thoughts on USAR. It makes me sad when I look at the chart. That's my first thought. Second thought is that these had parabolic moves, and they're coming back to areas where we can start looking at them again. Third thought is give Bracco, Bracco on Twitter a follow, because he called out the parabolic short opportunity on these, and he was so right. Down 50% since he called it. He called it on this day. So these moves, this is what happens. This was crazy. It's still a great thing to own long term. But if you weren't selling up here, you better be fine with volatility. How I would look at this, boom, 50% retest. Let's see what it does. I need a deal to buy these now, because it's just showing that we are in discount season on these. Give me a deal. Give me the 786. Slam it all the way back to the base to this imbalance. I'd be a buyer there. Yeah, I have an alert set for it. I want it there. Until then, it's a nothing trade to me. If you're a day trader, you could try to short it. But like heck, you got to short between moving averages and previous pivots and volume profile levels. You know, high volume node to high volume node type thing, either or buy in the low volume node and trade up to a high volume node. Ideally, you got to pick your spots and you got to move fast on these if you want to be involved now. It's just not the time. I know you talked about USAR, so let's go in that. Let's check that one out. So, all right, guys, if you've been here a while, I wouldn't shut the heck up about this one. Got to censor myself. I wouldn't shut up about this one being one big base that's going to go parabolic. I have not moved these fib levels since I drew them. This is why we do technical analysis. I'm not smart. I just know the rules, So, did I play this to this level? Heck no, I didn't. I was in options, and on this day, I said, oh my God, I did amazing. I'm closing everything. I don't want it to come back and backtest this. I'll buy the backtest. Yeah, me and everybody else will buy the backtest. Now I get to buy the backtest after 100% move higher, but whatever, So, didn't play it well, but heck of a chart read. All right. Anyways, long-term momentum is rolling down. This needs a progressed period of rest. So, because it's a hot button stock or sector, it could correct very rapidly. But in general, on a stock like this with this parabolic move, I would want to see a nice big reset before we push higher. Big parabolic move right here from 11 to 20. Comes all the way back down. That's I'm not going to measure it, but I guarantee you that's the 7-8. Fine, I'll measure it. From this parabolic move, it's going to come back to sweep the 0.6 and the 0.7. So right in the middle of the golden pocket. And that's where there are buyers. So if we do the same thing for this, we redraw our fib. I'm just going to cancel all these drawings because they don't matter anymore. Jeez, what a move. So we lost the 50, no trade. We did hold the 21. If you're a 21 day trader, you could say, all right, we have a gap, we have this. I'm defining my risk here at the 6-1 fib. Close under there, I'm out. I don't know. This doesn't look like good structure for me to buy. Could be. I don't know. I want it back here. Give me the previous high, confluence with the 0.78. Oh, baby. Give me that. And let me know what it does on the gap fill, because I want to know. There we go. Might buy it there. So that's what I'd say for USAR. We got to be careful. We missed it. Weekly momentum is still bullish, though. Long term, we did not miss it. That's a squeeze. Come back here, I'll buy it, and it'll probably go higher. That's what I would say about that. Tyler asking about SOUN. Yes, sir. SOUN. I was trading this week. I think it has so much room to go, but like with all of these high short interest, crazy volume, or crazy, these things move like crazy, right? Look at these top wicks. It's insanity. It's wild. What's it doing today? I don't know, but I did well buying the reclaim of 19. I know it closed at 19, but it traded up to like 19 or to 20, I believe, intraday. So what's it doing? I don't know. But what I think it's doing It's just retesting. Let's see, let me redraw. There we go. I think it's just retesting. Where is it? A little kind of pivot zone like that. See these top wicks, reclaim pushed off, back test. Big levels down here at 18. We've got confluence with the 21 day. So that's where I'd like to buy it now, that it's not in squeeze mode, parabolic squeeze, because, it would have held this today if it was. So either we can replay that crazy squeeze if it reclaims this fake breakdown on 20, we can call it. More like 2023 maybe. But in general, we are just starting to trade back into this volume shelf. We do have a bipolar node here. We could dip back in here. This would be the area I'd be really interested. 1830 down to the 18 level. If they give you 18, you buy 18, I'm pretty sure. With a stop under 1730. Potential upside like 200%. Not bad. That's what I think about SOUN. I like it. So it's running hot and it's trying to curl over, but it will try to catch and bounce off the the SMA there, the red line. Oh, Tim, is that you I hear in my ear?
Yeah, back from I put you up on the big screen at the conference.
Oh, how about that? Awesome. Let's see.
We're not there anymore, but
Wait, am I on there now? Wait, Tim, can people hear you or am I talking to myself?
you're talking to yourself.
Oh, I'm talking to myself. Great. Okay. Sorry, guys. So Trade the Pool is at a trading conference in Miami. It's a big festivity. And apparently we were, this stream was on the big screen. So, all right, Tim, let me give you what you're asking for here. And thank you for your patience, everybody else. I was like, I thought I heard somebody in my ear. Who is that? There you go, Tim. All right. We are back. So DJ 2 a.m. HIMS. Let's talk HIMS. I was talking about this move, getting long in here, looking for a breakout. I was also talking about here for a breakout. This did not happen. Got sideswiped, cleared out a lot of stops, and squeezed. Crazy squeeze here. If anybody caught this, congratulations. If you held the options that I said buy here and you didn't get stopped out like me, you'd be doing very well. It was a couple hundred back or a couple 100%. I took a stop, but I had shares that I bought here when I got mad that I got stopped out. I said, hey, I think it still is posting a big bottom wick in our big shelf. I said, I'll buy some shares. So my HIMS with a Z are up were up like 20 something percent when I trimmed. Now I'm sure they got stopped out at break even. Yeah, back here. Bummer, but whatever. So this is a crazy mover. Even when I thought it was going to do this, I also drew this because I just don't know. With something like this. It is just highly volatile. We just got the bearish crossover on the weekly because of this candle. So I can't be super happy about it after this stick. I need to see where it catches. I think that something tells me that it wants to hit this node right here, 46.56, that low volume node. That'd be pretty nice. Maybe it trades all the way back into this space. Either way, I am bullish long term. I don't really care about well, the CEO did a crime. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not good. I'm not like pro white collar crime, but like, I don't know if that's really that much of an indictment on the actual company. I think that maybe he just sucks. So charts generally don't go from $8 to $70 for no good reason at all. That's actually kind of not true. I don't know. I guess we'll see if it's just a short squeeze or if this is a real company. I don't have shares anymore. I got stopped out. That's where I'm at with HIMS. Mike Dundee, sideways volume indicator on TradingView. That is the volume profile. This is VRVP, visual range volume profile. You can also just get fixed range where you put in your own range. And yeah. Okay. Leo asking, what happened to TSM? I thought it was going to fly like Oracle and it went the opposite. TSM, I am a tourist in this space. I'm a tourist in all spaces, but especially in terms of fundamentals, but especially semiconductors. There's a ton that I just do not really understand because I haven't read very much about it. What I would say is my very good buddy Jay Arlington on Twitter. He is a very, very, very smart about semiconductors. So I would refer you to him. What I can tell you from the charts, you guys seen that meme of the cat? It's like, why is it going down? And the giant green line is down like 2%. That's how this feels. Why is it going down? Because it's up here. Because it hit 300, I really think is the answer. And it needs a major juice to send it through there. I don't think the news is bearish. I don't know much about the news. This chart doesn't tell me that the news is super bearish. It just tells me that, hey, we need to clear out liquidity and this is a weird range and we probably need to base out for a while. What I would do is I would put on my trigger system. And I would trust these because I don't know. 21-day holding, that's a good sign there. 9-day possibly failing, not great. Probably needs to come back here, test this again. If this holds, well and good, high or low, nice. Otherwise, I really care about this daily trigger, right at 283. So nice confluence with a previous high. This will very, very often happen where the key moving average will come to provide confluence with a key horizontal level as price approaches it to the downside. So that's what I would be looking at. I also see a nice uptrend line here. This is a nice angle for an uptrend line to respect. Just horizontal, like it's an ascending triangle base. So that's what I would look for. I would look for the confluence at 288 to 290 to hold if you're a bull. Otherwise, really needs to hold this 283-ish. If it doesn't, could be a little bit rough. 250 would be nice to buy. I don't know if we get there. Maybe 270. That's what I'd say about TSM. It's not my favorite right now. I like Nvidia more. I like Intel a lot more. That's the thing. TSM and Intel, they're kind of like dueling for market share right now in a lot of ways, or at least for volume. So I like Intel more. I am Team Intel. What was that? That Twilight thing? Team Edwin. Yeah, I'm Team Intel. So I think Intel goes to 40 to 45. I think TSM goes higher. I just don't know when and I don't know how. And it looks toppy to me and this does not. So that's where I am with those guys, the foundries. Tyler trading Rigetti. Yeah, Tyler, I sold it at 25. I feel like a dummy, but you know what? Made money. AMD is the efficient, cost-effective chip. Let me show you a really cool chart. AMD over Nvidia. Let's zoom out to get the importance of the relevance of what we are seeing, guys. Take this out because you cannot see anything on this chart. 1 month candles. I don't know, guys. It has been trading as strong or stronger than Nvidia for over a year, about a year and a half. Is it time? Sure seems like it's time. I think AMD is a screaming buy off of moving averages or 4 chips exposure, let's say. I think that this is a screaming pair trade here. I love this pair trade long term. Like if you want semi exposure, but you don't think that semis are going to go up right now, short Nvidia, long AMD. Man, imagine suggesting short AMD in a pair or short Nvidia in a pair trade, especially against AMD like a year or two ago. Here we are, boys, positioning. Funny how news cycles to make this a better buy at the price. So AMD, I like it. Let's look at the actual chart. Oh man, what a month. Oh, my schizo chart. That's fun. So that is a post earnings gap setup. Even though it isn't earnings, it's a pre-earnings gap setup. What the heck? That's wild. So crazy news into earnings. It's flagging into earnings. It has the potential to surge much higher with the new catalyst of good earnings. The level to watch is this previous high. Very obviously the pivot to 650. What we also will do is we put a fib on our new range. Now we get up in there. And look at that. Man, that looks strong. There's an imbalance here aligned with the 9-day. I'd be a buyer at 220. I'd be a buyer at 220. Right under the 50 fib there. Let's see what would it look like if they gave us a golden pocket buy? Any confluences there? So we're looking in between the 6.2 and the 7.8. Guess it could get down there. I don't think it does though. I would look at this 220 spot, 219 to 222, that zone. That's where I'd look for a buy on this guy. What else? Bill R. Sorry, this was 15 minutes ago. I'm seeing if you are still here. So Bill was asking, why does the POC move on the session profile when you change timeframes? So what's happening is I have two different indicators. When I'm on a daily or a weekly or a monthly, you're just seeing the VRVP, the visual range volume profile. When I shift to something like a 1 hour, then you will see both, and that is confusing. So you will see the intra-session ones. This is one session, one session, one session. And this is the combination of everything on my screen here. Hope that clears it up. Oh, talk. Is talk the canary in the precious metals mine and the rare earth minerals mine? Guess we'll see. I'm still in my MP. I did trim at 100 because I'm not a psycho. But maybe it's over. Maybe I get stopped out on my runners. I'm probably pretty close. Yeah, my stop is close under this. So I don't manage these too closely, to be complete. I've been very burnt out in the past month. So like this is one I could have managed a lot better. I just literally said, hey, I'm gonna just every week I'm just gonna move the stop up to the 21, and when it hits 100, I'll take it. And so I took it. Oh man, literally top tick, crazy. Just auto order, because if I was watching this, I'd probably think, hey, it's gonna go higher. So that's why we just play levels, That's the breakout or resistance, the 1.27. Confluence with the round number at 100. Screaming sell there. Now it's coming back to support, so we'll see. Might come back to 75, and I could look to get involved there again if I get stopped out on the runner. I'm in from 65, so I don't really care, to be honest. That's how I'm thinking there. REMX. REMX hitting resistance. What resistance is it? Pretty decent one. Oh yeah, the high volume shelf. Okay, guys. So nice. Another example of one of these bipolar. There's another name for it that I'm forgetting. Bifocal, I guess. That's not the right word. We're gonna call it bipolar, just like me. So we have this big shelf, this big shelf. It's playing ping pong. We got the intermediary shelf. What I think, we can just take a fib literally to this. We don't even need candles. What's the 50%? It's this volume shelf right here. So watch 60 to 62 roughly. This area. Let's mark it out. That's where we want to see hold. So what I would expect is this to chop and bop, mess with people as the moving averages, which are bullish, getting a bullish crossover, come up to find support around that 60. And we probably look to get involved around there again. This trade is not over. Not even by a long shot. In my opinion, of course. Always my opinion. Let's see. Oh, Doug's calling me out. Douglas, what did I do? This is perfect. I say one thing and do the other all the time. I'm not as good of a trader as I am analyst. So let's see. Which one breaks the V rule if you're still here? Oh, 15 minutes ago. Man, you guys are commenting so fast. All right. Doug, if you're still here, I would love to hear which V rule I broke, because I need to be held accountable. Let's see what else do we got here. I'm going to go from the bottom top because I don't want to miss questions that are just coming in here. Bill saying his POC moves when I change timeframes with SVP. Marked it off with a trend line. I don't know why either. That's strange. I'm really not sure about that, Bill. Session should not. It should just be for the session. It's very strange. Okay. Yeah, Nick, or DJ2AM, the trading view, it's just so clean. Just the user AI, the UI, sorry, is very very easy to use. Everything just works how it should for me. I don't like their customer service. I don't like their pricing plan. I don't like how they have been messing with like what features they can get away with taking away on the lower price plans. But it's a great product. Can't say it's not. Thinkorswim, also a great product. I think it's just old. It's just old and it looks bad. So it's kind of like Sierra Charts. Sierra Charts is awesome, but it looks bad. So it just depends on, you know, how much that's worth it to you. For me, especially because I do a lot of presenting, if I come up here with a Sierra chart, you guys will throw bricks at me. So gotta have the nice looking lines. Alrighty. When will IREN give a decent pullback? Czar Trader wants to know, along with everybody else in the world, myself included. Let's look at it. Oh man, what a chart. You want real pain? Come back to a chart that you looked for a breakout at 850. Let's see, it's trading for $70. That's smart. Okay, so what do we got here? What are we actually looking at? Insane parabolic move. We're going to change these fibs to something a little more meaningful. I apologize, guys. I need to get the door. I will be back in literally 20 seconds. Sorry about that. Oh. Okay. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Let's talk IREN. Let's talk some fibs. Let's talk some fibs. So it's important to use the right fibs. This is something I don't see anybody talking about. When you have a parabolic chart, you need to be on, whoops, there we go. You need to be on a log chart first off, because otherwise it just it's not going to look right. It's not going to make sense. Log charts might look very wrong to you if you're not used to them. But with these big parabolic movers, much more relevant price action. So, for example, with the log fibs on, we see a pretty clean respect of each of these levels, where there's some give to each of them for the most part. I do believe if we turn this off, this tells us much less. These levels tell us much less. I see much less interplay with most of them. So this makes sense. You want fib levels based on log scale on a log chart. And what is more telling is that we could see with these fib levels that this was Palantiring. As another great Twitter follow, Cantonese Cat, likes to say, I think he coined that term. A Palantiring stock is a stock that screams out of a right wall of a base, like when their entire price action is one big base, and it screams up and out of it, and then it surges parabolically through it. So when we draw our log fibs from the high to the low, look at this beautiful 50% back test here. That's so clean. And also look at the multiple rejections at the 6.2 when it wasn't ready. It was catching down here, and then boom, 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 boom. So now we're screaming up here. And we are, look at this, guys. Fibs are so useful. The 1.27 fib. I'm telling you, this is like hidden knowledge. I'm just giving this to you guys. It took me 4 or 5 years to find this stuff. And I was like, why didn't they tell me this day one? Why didn't they tell me that on any fib extension, I should be having a 1.27 on my thing, and I should color it yellow, because if it's going to reject, that'll be where. Slow down here. If you pass go to green, collect $200, or 200%, $150. Okay, so that's the rules. If we hold above 70, we scream. scream. I'm not saying we'll definitely get to 220, but like it should continue to go up. I don't see why it wouldn't. For reference, the OG here, see how similar these charts are? And I'll go ahead and clean this up for y'all. Give you the fib that matters. High to low. Guys, I'm putting you on. Use this technology. Look, the Palantir breakout. Where is it stopping? Where is it stopping? Where is it stopping? Where is it stopping? The 1.27. And now it's going to consolidate here till boom. All right, we're playing ball, baby. We're still going higher. This is the confirmation of the actual breakout, believe it or not. What do? We back test it, high or low, reclaim this. We are bagging action, ride it up the fibs. We're surfing, or not fibs, we're surfing moving averages up to the next target. Easy money up to the 1.68. Now we're flagging here. If we break all-time highs, we should not see much major pullback until 300 plus. Will it happen? I don't know. But I do not fade stocks that look like this. Nvidia. That's the range we want. It Palantired on this time frame. Same thing here, guys, like clockwork. High to the low of the range, log fibs. Look at it consolidate at the 1.27. 1.27, is it real? I don't know. If it breaks above this, it's real. So what do? When it posts a healthy close over the 1.27, this is a little sussy, comes back, holds the moving averages though. So ideally you're getting involved here, anticipating this. But otherwise, any of these weeks is a buy. Any of these weeks is a buy. And what do you get? Massive expansion. Where does it go? This thing's so damn strong, it just goes straight to the 2. So damn strong, it double bottoms off the 2 and wants to go for the 2.6. We don't fade these. So now I'm going to put one on your radar that might be doing this. Actually, let's talk one other one that did this first, that we did catch. RGTI. And high, previous high to all-time low. That's why we need fib ranges, because what the heck is it going to look like on a normal chart if it trades down to 0.38, 38 cents from 1260, a 99% loss or whatever. Like it's unreadable. This looks like a real chart though. So what I wanted to show y'all was how we have this range. I have an extra fib here. It's confusing me. Oh, this one isn't going to be log. No, it is. All right, I'm confused by something, but regardless. This is the real breakout test here. And maybe if there was one fib level of interest. No. Let's bring back the old one. Okay, I don't know exactly. Oh, that's why. Okay, so interesting. In this one, the actual non-log fib was more responsive, and this one showed the breakout getting halted there, and then it coiled right under the 1.27 before, surging way past my target. This is like stretch target, but there are higher fibs too. So very interesting there. Okie dokie. All right, going through these. I think somebody mentioned bull. Let's talk bull because I'm getting slammed on this one. It's not respecting my line. How dare it? Kind of holding this zone, but man. I really thought this was a bottom, and then we had today's stick. So either it's running stops deep, or this thing is, I don't know, going back to 10, I guess. This thing is I think it's a buy here. I think it was a buy at 15 too. You just have to be patient. But in terms of actually timing this, daily starting to get close, but still doesn't look ready with today. Weekly still ugly. Don't like that. Monthly so messed up, the momentum just from the crazy move. So like this thing could take quite a while to reset. Tyler, yeah, we can look at VRT. Give me one sec. So for bull here, I mean, heck, what do you do? I'm gonna need to see a strong day next week because I have end of November options. So we'll see. The only comfort is that I followed flow from institutional money, and they're getting bagged too, and they haven't sold. So I don't know if they're riding, I'm riding. If they hold, I hold. Let's look at VRT. VRT, Vertiv. They do cooling for data centers, right? I believe so. Or is that VST? I always get them mixed up. I believe it's VRT. Yes, VRT. Okay. It's just surf and moving averages. It's broken out. I would like a back test, but maybe this was the only one they needed. I would like a back test to 156.50. But this looks good. 165. A little bit of a low volume node over a high volume node. And it's this little pivot right here too. And it's aligned with the 21 day. We might need to come back and test this previous high, like I said. Either way, long term, very bullish. Things just starting to get overbought, and it can go much higher from when it just starts to get overbought on the weekly. It's not a sell sign, especially when it's this velocity up into it. That's beautiful. Monthly, looking good. Same kind of thing, just starting to ramp up. I like that. Daily is weak, though. So daily is running hot. It probably needs to pull back on a daily time frame while remaining strong on a weekly and monthly time frame. That's what I would say. So that aligns with our thesis of a small pullback, 7% or so, 7 to 10%. So I'd watch those levels. Any idea what's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum? No 4-year cycle. I think the 4-year cycle, the Bitcoin thing, crypto thing isn't a thing anymore. I think that was heavily dampened by the amount of institutional inflows in the past couple of years. I think that Bitcoin in particular, and now Ethereum and even Solana and some of the altcoins are starting to trade more like less of a alternate asset class and more of just leveraged QQQ to some degree or another, obviously with different variables at play. But for the most part, that's kind of what I'm seeing. So I don't think it's going to be as beholden to its own kind of cyclical cycle. Like it was almost like a cyclical like commodity or something, which I guess you could consider Bitcoin a commodity if you're one of those guys. But that's what I see. I can pull up a chart too. I'm still mad bullish on these, and I still do think they have some kind of cyclicality to them. But I think that's been very much dampened by the institutional investment. That's my bigger path for Bitcoin. I think we go up much higher. The 169 420, it's a 2 times extension of this base. Come on, they want it. They want it. Let's see. Yeah, in the last 6 months, just barcode. Yeah. Oh, you want to hold the high high beta growth asset during one of the biggest bull runs ever? Okay, you're gonna have no returns in 6 months. Have fun. Yeah. It sucks. I know it sucks. I hold Bitcoin. Yeah. No fun. But it'll go higher eventually, and when it screams, it will be worth it. So Ethereum I like even more. I don't think we're getting this wave. I think we got a smaller 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'm wrong there though. Maybe we do need to come down a bit more. But big picture, we are back testing this major shelf, this major high, structure high. If we hold this, yeah, we dipped in a little, but who cares? If we hold this, we push. Tim, sorry, I did not catch that. If you could message me, I can see that easier. So let's see. Binance trades killing leverage last 2 weeks. You got it. Nature's healing talk. Nature's healing. When you have cross leverage, 100 times leverage on one, and then you're taking out collateralized leverage again. I don't know what the heck these guys do nowadays, but I know people Okay, what was that coin, Tim? If you know that coin that went from $4 to a penny, there were some gnarly crypto charts. Holy moly! Uh, I think I'm in risky stuff, trading my SOUN and my weekly SPY options. My long term holdings didn't go down 99.9%, so could be worse, man. So yeah, I don't know. Long crypto at some point, maybe. I mean, definitely. Wow, STI. What crime do they do? What crazy crypto scheme do they do? Is this another treasury or I don't know, Lex? That's something else though, isn't it? What the heck am I looking at? All right, let's chart it out. Let's chart it out. We got the first push down. That's a zone of interest. It consolidates there. Notable. That's where it's finding resistance. Makes complete sense. It's the top of this volume shelf. If this holds, we see push high, back test, sweep this high, back test. Big move, big move. If it does not, fills the gap back in here, and we do a forever W. Hi, you were a bull. You were a bull. Okay. Now you get your move. Wait 2 years. So those are the kind of options for a chart like this. You want immediate extension through here. It needs to hold the neckline here. We can draw this a little more conservatively there. If it doesn't hold 14, you're in trouble. That being said, upside looks explosive. I would need to know what the heck changed because this is a chart of something changing. This is the volume of somebody knowing something is going to change. This is the actual event. So this top sell is this guy taking some of his profits, but I bet he's holding for higher. I don't know what the heck they do though, so I'll have to look into this one. Okay. Yeah, I'm fishing in a similar pool. I don't know what the heck they're going to do, but I think there is a play to be made with stable coins in general around this. And I don't know. What do you think about just buying Circle? Oh, sad. This was a bear flag. I want to see what it does. 120. Lex. Okay, they're into data center. Yep. I mean, I figured something like that. That's how you get a 30% pop nowadays. So, one more data center play for you guys. DigiPower. This one's degen, so size small, but look at that chart. What a chart, right? You love when the volume profile just freaks out and gives you one giant base because there was so much volume traded so low on a penny stock. That's always a good sign. So yeah, DigiPower to where are my lines? Point of control right there. 75, easy, right? Log charts are funny. Realistically speaking, let's find a target. We have a major range. We play the major range. See the difference in the fibs there when you change it to log. These are what matters. So maybe if we do it to the gap down, yeah, that looks better. So fibs, there are rules, but then it's also kind of like an art. Like, why did I do it at the bottom here as opposed to the actual true top there, or maybe the high here? So like at each level, there's going to be some algo firing off of each of these different sets of fibs. Like, for example, the one drawn from here to here, clearly that was in play here. It was, and what I would say is even more so, and this might sound conspiratorial or schizophrenic, but hear me out, guys. When this wick goes up here and retests this 50, they already know that they're taking it to this level. That's what I think. I don't know if this is true, but this is a strong belief that I have on charts like this, where when you get a big gap down and the dead cat bounce corresponds very neatly to where in the future the bottom of the fib will be projected. It feels very much like this was the end game, and how they reach that is they take it here, they back test it, and then it goes here. So that means this was programmed when this started to sell. That's kind of my thesis. I don't know. That's just how I look at price action. Anyways, guys. I'm gonna start. I think it's about time to start wrapping up a little bit. So keep the questions coming. We'll keep doing charts. If you got charts, I'm here for you guys, and this is fun for me. But putting it on your radar. We are about at that time. So keep on giving me ideas here, but that's where I'm at. Until then, for the next 5 minutes, I will go over some other setups that I am either in or watching. clean this up a little. You can tell I've been trading these very heavily. So AOI here looks to me like a VCP, volatility contraction pattern, just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. This is a sign that short-term buyers, short-term traders, they sell on every one of these pops, but long-term investors are buying it tighter. See here, then here, then here. They're buying it tighter and tighter each time, higher lows each time. They are less willing, or they are more willing to pay a higher price, thinking it's going higher. So I like this kind of setup. I think this is very structurally sound. The higher time frame you go, the prettier it looks. Like it might want to Palantir. Like it might want to just eat up the right wall here. And if we draw our, let's draw a new big fib. Big low to big high. Make sure it's fib or log. So double bottomed off the 0.5. Very nice. Now, oh, I see. I need to have my other levels. There we go. Recently, we backtested the 0.62. Very key fib. Beautiful response off of that, sweeping these highs and closing the month. Well, month's not closed. Closing the week above this key pivot. Next stop up is going to be our... Technically, we do have a mid fib here that's less important. The 0.7... I don't find it super important. I just like it as the midpoint between the 0.62 and the 0.78. But it is there. We did break it. Next stop up is going to be this 0.78. This is the big one here. And this is all the way up at 41. And basically confluence with the previous swing high at 44. So this is where I'm looking for this thing to go. I think it's a real nice one. And I think that if we do get this, it just keeps going and going and going. 63 will be the next target up after that. Then the big one. So I like this one. Yeah, Talk. I don't get credit for that. That's there's a really good follow on Twitter called Cantonese Cat. And yeah, he loves that term. It's really good. I think he invented it, coined it. So CLSK is another potential candidate here. I mean, what a base. Whole price history is a base. Sorry, another messy chart, but look, it's negotiating the 6-2. If it can close above that, it should rip to a double pretty quick, honestly, I think. These names are just insane. Okie doke. Tyler, I don't know what the owl and meta thing is. I've heard about it, like in passing. Like, I don't know, is it an actual owl? Is Facebook making owls now? Robotic owls that spy on people? I like this. This seems bullish. I'm here for the idea, but I don't know much about it. Assuming it's not that, then I'm less excited, but I'll have to get back to you on that one. Okay, going back on through comments, making sure I didn't miss anything here. Talk sold Rigetti and bought T-bills. Go to the boring dungeon. That's boring. Come on, man. Buy some fart coin. Live a little. What are we doing? Come on. All right. I'm just having fun here now, guys. It's been a long week. I think it's time to wrap up. Buzzer beater here. I'll give you 2 more minutes while I go around the horn, and then we are calling it. Talk BE. Let's talk about it. Sheesh, look at that. There's a Palantir for you. I remember when I thought I missed this thing at 27. Ha 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 ha. All right. Nothing like a little pain. There's no crying in trading, right? It's like baseball. Just rub some dirt on it. All right. So we got the breakout on BE through the 1.27. I bet if we go into the daily, sheesh, yeah. If we go to the daily, look at where the seller stepped in and scared the pants out of everybody. That 27 fib. I'm telling you guys, it just works. And this was a 26% drawdown in 3 days. And if you didn't have a reason to hold, you missed on a 100% move in 2 weeks after that, 3 weeks. That's insane. That's insane. So, I mean, heck, what's the question? It's going up. I don't know. I don't know how high. It's going up until these moving averages fail. Because so far, it's gone up because these moving averages held. So heck, buy it every single time comes to the blue, double down every time it comes to the yellow, and eventually you'll lose all your money because it will go to zero. No, I'm kidding. But like legitimately do that strategy until it stops working, until it prints one candle underneath the green or the yellow. It has not done that literally ever since the move. You would be up over 400% by just literally saying at the end of every day, I am going to move my stop up, or, I'm going to check and see if it lost this line. And if it didn't, I'm in. So keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple. You will psych yourself out of so much darn money like I did today by not just holding my gosh darn 605 C's from open, $7 of premium that I bought for like $1, but I didn't hold, so whatever. Yeah, don't be like me. I think that's as good a place as any to wrap up here, guys. If you like this, let me know. I would love to do more of these. I think that they're a lot of fun and they're like evergreens. There's always something new to talk about, and we can just bring in new ideas and meet you guys where you're at. So if you like it, definitely let me know here on Trade the Pool on the Discord, and that feedback goes a long way in choosing what I do next. So thank you so much for joining, guys. I hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good week. Hope you go out and have a great weekend and reset, get fresh, because the next week it's not going to get any less crazy, guys. It's only up from here. Maybe not in price action, but in trading at the very least. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great one. I will see you on the flip side. Come find me in my Discord. You can find that on my Twitter. That is at Steve Tileman, STEVETEILA. LMANN. I cannot spell my own name, but you can find me there. There's my Discord there. Come out and hang out and Trade the Pools Discord as well. We got a lot of great traders every single day, and they want to help you make some money. So come make some money with us. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care.